Welcome back to Lovely's Crafting Lodge. Today I have a flip through of a journal that I just finished. It's a dragon themed journal, and I started out with a hardcover book that I pulled the insides out and I covered it with fabric. Fabric is got a little bit of a texture and shine to it. I thought it resembled something mystical, dragony. The spine here is an exposed spine, 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and I just added some beads here. I thought they would be really cute. They're really fun. These beads here, I believe, are called, the print in it is called Dragon Vein. And the back is just plain, again, hardcover. So inside, I covered the inside with music paper that I tie-dyed over the summer. I just had leftover tie-dye and I used that to cover, to dye some papers. And I used that to cover the inside. This is just a pocket with the library card due date, little Hujima there. And this is 3 signatures, so this is started with the first signature. A little bit thicker paper here for the cover. And a lot of this paper is made with just using the leftover tie-dye that I had over the summer and was just kind of playing with it. Didn't want to be wasteful. So this is notebook paper, and I did a little bit of stenciling here and here to kind of blend the page together. And here's a journaling card. I had some fiber and I just stapled it to there, give it some texture. Notebook page. This is printer page, again with that tie-dye. Printed out some dragon eyes, and I first printed them on regular paper, and they were cute, but not what I was looking for. So I printed it on photo paper, and it really gave it a different shine to it. I like it. So it's kind of like a little tab right there. And here's some ledger dyed in the same way this summer. And I just took some dragon images and folded them in half, inked them, and glued it to the page as if it's its own little tab. So I thought that was pretty fun. And this is my very first belly band. Do you love it? I love it. I never did a belly band before, and it's really just a strip of paper down the middle of the page. So, well, not really even a strip of paper, but anything. So I made this little flip booklet to go inside here. It's just some journaling cards attached with some washi tape, kind of a map. Thought that was kind of interesting, you know, Dragons Explorer kind of thing. Flips up and then out and then out. So those 4 little journaling spots all tucked in there, and I just put it underneath the belly band here. And I didn't fill it up completely because I want the recipient to be able to add to it as they wish. So I try to leave a lot of stuff removable. So here's a tag. I printed it on vellum and inked it, and then I backed it with coffee dyed paper. So that was pretty cool. Oh, and this page, totally didn't say it, is vellum also, and I printed on it. I had never used vellum before, and it's so fun. So if you've never purchased vellum or don't really know what to do with it, just grab a couple sheets from the store and just have fun. I know some of the crafting stores sell them individually. So if you don't want to make a large monetary commitment to a stack of vellum, I'd go that direction. Here's some more music page. It was a little bit brittle, so I reinforced it with the same washi tape just to give it some sturdiness. Here is a pocket that I made. I actually have a video on this. If you want to scroll back, you can watch that. And this is probably one of my favorite things with the vellum in this journal is I printed this map, and I inked the edges, some of the edges too, some of the folds, and I printed this map on vellum, and I just think it looks so cool. Like, I hope you can see through, but it's just enough to give it a different feel. You know, a lot of the stuff that we do is all about feel, right? So the different textures and things are just really fun to play with. So it's a a long pocket here so she can keep the map in there if she wants or not. Another notebook page, and I just used some stamps here just on the opposite corners. This just turned out so neat. And then here's the middle of the signature. Oh, I forgot to show. The middle of the signature, I have just some charms that I put on there. Dragon, of course. Here's more notebook paper. Here's the other pocket. So it's a 12 by 12 folded. And then here's the other side of the pocket, reinforced with some washi tape. Because I folded it inside out first, and then I had to fold it the other way, and so it started to look perforated. So I just reinforced it there. So yeah, there's a long pocket here she can tuck some things down into. And here's the other side of the music page. Here is a upper tuck, a tucking spot at the top. I don't know what to call it. Here's vellum that I printed and I ripped, and then I put notebook, coffee dyed notebook page on the back so it showed through, but it just looks really neat. So here is a pocket that just one-sided copy paper, and on the spot I folded it, and then on the spots that we're going to show right here of just stark white paper, I used a stencil and just went through and stenciled it with a little bit of like a dragon scale stencil. And this pocket fold I learned from E at Scrapbooking with Me. I am really into her right now, so watching a lot of her how-tos and whatnots. So that journaling card tucks there, and this I just printed out on thick cardstock and put the scrap that I had from the same coordinating notebook paper and enchanting. And the last journaling card here is like a vintage dragon with a little scrap, a number, a little circle that I had printed out on vellum, and I have a couple other circles there, and stenciling on the back. This paper is the vellum that I printed on again. It looks so neat just at what it shows through. Regular copy paper, ledger copy paper. Here's a pocket journaling card, and I just attached some fiber to the top there with some stenciling. It has a pretty common theme throughout, obviously journal, but in the style that it has a lot of journaling space. Notebook paper, and the end of the first signature. Second signature starts with, I just ripped up some lace and ripped the edges of these, I believe these symbols are called runes. I imagine someone will help me in the comments. But I ripped it and inked it and just gave it kind of an aged look there. And notebook paper. This pocket here that I did also is from E from Scrapbooking with Me, and it's just using 2 sheets of notebook paper, and I just thought it was fun to give her, the recipient, plenty of space. This was a circle that I punched out, and I folded it in half and glued one to each side, and Susie from Susie's craft room taught me that. So that was pretty cool. And I just had like a little scrap sitting on my desk, so I ripped it and glued it on, and I think it looks really cool. So this has multiple pockets, this thing from E. So it's a really long pocket right here. I'm not going to show you, but it goes down, and then this one's long too, and then here's a shorter pocket, and then the last pocket right here is in the front. So I just tucked that there, and you know, room to grow. Here's another image that I just folded in half and inked and used kind of as a tab. I did something a little bit different on this journal, and I have things going over the edge, and I just think that was really fun to be sticking out of the journal. More stamping, and here is a cardstock. I had 2 pieces of cardstock that I accidentally printed one-sided, and I was like, okay, well, how can I use this? So I attached them together, just glued them together, and then folded them, I glued the tops together, folded them, and just cut a little thumb hole here, and it pulls out to reveal a little storybook in there. So just a paper clip with a little charm, and this is that same fiber from the beginning there, and I just pulled it apart. And then I glued the spine of it, and I let that dry a little bit, and then I pulled it and I glued it apart right there, and I pulled this apart and glued it there and pulled it, and just kept doing that all around the edge. So this is a scrap of coffee dyed paper. Oh, sorry. This is the paper pack, the Celestial paper pack that I was showing in an earlier video. That was just one-sided scrapbook paper, so I was trying different things to see how I could use it. Coffee dyed paper and just a vintage emblem there. And here's the stencil and some words, and that's it. And it just tucks right inside there, and it hangs out. Here's a vellum that I printed on and did a, so this side just has a vintage photo and this side has a pocket. Here's our music page, and this one, again, in the tutorial video that I have, I wasn't sure how I was going to use them, so for the first signature I glued it down and used it as a pocket, and then I decided to leave it open, so there'd be, again, more journaling space. We have the dyed paper. This page right here had a little bit of a worn spot, a little rip in it, so I put this dragon eye on there, and I think the colors are perfect. Like, I could not have, you know, I made this, you know, in July. Well, no, not July. I made this in August. So I made it this summer, and I just found this image, you know, 3 days ago. So it turned out really cool. And then here's the center of that, the next signature. Oh, I forgot to pull the charms. So this is the large